Well, hello, podcast people. I always want to sing at the beginning of a podcast. I don't know why. And today I was like, oh, the single ladies, oh, the single ladies, oh, the single ladies. Makes zero sense. I know. But sometimes I get a microphone in front of me and I feel like pretending I can sing, which we all know I can't. This is why I'm not on the worship team at church. This is why God graced me in business because my vocal cords have not been blessed. Hey, listen, today is podcast episode number 189. What I'm going to talk about today on podcast episode 189 is 5 things that myself and my team learned from doing our first challenge last week, and things that I think will help you if you've considered doing a challenge, if you're not quite sure what a challenge is, if you love challenges and you want to marry it, maybe it could still be helpful to you. So that is what we're going to talk about. And I'm super excited. Some of you may have seen we did some posts, we did some swipe ups on social media, we did some emails, we did some Facebook ads for what we were calling our 5-day Boost Your Biz challenge. Now, listen, it wasn't necessarily really a challenge, but the word challenge is really hot right now. So we're like, okay, we'll go with what's hot, and the word challenge is what's hot. So it wasn't like we were doing a 5-day, or my friend Carrie, for instance, she's doing like an 8-day you're not on any sugar type of challenge. That's actually a challenge where you're being challenged to not eat sugar. You know what I mean? This wasn't really necessarily a challenge, but we were providing a 5-day environment with the title challenge to help people get some clarification, some clarity, some aha moments around the idea of why your business may be kind of like flatlined, why it hasn't reached the potential that you want for it to. 5 reasons why your business is not, at the financial level that you wanted to. 5 reasons why you're not doing the big bucks, whatever you want to say. And so that was super fun. It ran, just a little bit of backstory. We started the challenge on Monday morning. And we basically, here's what we did. All right, we're going to bag this buzz way up. So what we did is we started, I think, a little over a week prior to that, talking about the challenge, doing the swipe up for the challenge, etc. The challenge was $10 unless you were a current coaching student of me. So if you were in our inner circle, we gave it to you for free. Why did we do that? Well, because we adore our paid clients, and we try to sow into our paid clients because they're sowing into us. And we just wanted to gift them to them. So it was $10 for everybody else. We're going to talk about that in a second. Then we had a couple of upsells. One was a $17 upsell. One was a $47 upsell to something called the War Room. So I was planning on talking to people about the 5 things, that could be keeping their business stuck. But I also really felt like, but I really want to pray for some entrepreneurs. And I really want to, kind of go a little bit deeper into the spiritual aspect. And knowing that not everybody would be real comfortable with that in the main group, I thought, what if we just did this additional thing where people that want that, they can pay for it. Now, some of you might be getting all hivey right now. You're breaking out in the hives and you're thinking, okay, she charged for prayer. You betcha I did. You betcha I did, with zero guilt about it. Because when God gives you an idea for something, I think that we need to required almost to run with that and not second guess it. And, oh, wait, other people pray for free. I pray for free all the time. I pray, over this woman on the podcast. Last November, I did 30 days of prayer on my Facebook page. I've got a devotional you can get for free if you go to jenniferallwood.com/prayer. So I have plenty of times where I pray for free. But I wanted this to be something different for a lot of reasons. And I don't want to start preaching at the moment, but sometimes, where you pay attention. And I knew that if I had people pay, they would actually be there. And it's only by people actually being there or listening to the recordings that I knew that I could help break some things off of them in their business, which would allow them to get some freedom that could change their business and change their life. So for me, I had zero issue with charging for prayer. I mean, let's go. I've had plenty of times when I've paid to get into, a Beth Moore thing, a woman of faith thing. I am happy to sow into something that, there's a covering there that I want to get under. I want the anointing that's in the room. Let's do it. So that's how we kind of set up the challenge. Monday through Friday, I was in the regular group for the first 45 minutes and then in the War Room for 45 minutes after. We had some printouts that my team made because Team Allwood is all that and a bag of chips and a bag of donuts and a bag of everything. So they were amazing, and they made all the printouts that went with it. And then on Friday, we started the pivot into, if you are not one of my current Inner Circle members, we want to invite you to join us. People on my team were live a couple times over the weekend, allowing me to really like back off and regroup and be with family for the weekend. And we closed that card on Sunday night. So all in all, it was a huge success. And it was our first challenge, and we loved it, and we're going to do more. So here's the 5 things I want you to take away. Okay. The topic is really important. And for your first challenge, I want you to pick something that you're really passionate about. Even if you've never seen anybody do it before, even if you're not quite sure, I still want you to go with your gut. And I'm going to tell you why. In going with our gut on this challenge, I found absolutely my zone of genius, and talked about that in Monday on the Monday Fire podcast. And you can go listen to that if you want to, but pick something you're super passionate about. And I know that you might be thinking, and it needs to be super sexy, and people need to, get done with all these like concrete takeaways and workbooks. And you know what? It doesn't have to be all that. Sometimes just providing a playground for people to get some clarity and this revelation and aha moment, like that is good enough. That's good enough. Why do we read a book? To hopefully grab a nugget. We read 225 pages half the time to grab a couple of takeaways. Am I right? So you don't have to be like hammering them with content. You don't have to be giving them, the whole field. They just are there for the couple of pieces of fruit. They're just there for the couple of nuggets. So find a topic that really fits you, that you're feeling super passionate about, and do that for your first challenge. Second, you don't have to have everything figured out. We'd never done a challenge before. We didn't give ourselves a lot of time. Why? Well, because Jen here, talking in third person right now, I dilly-dallied in the beginning. I was like, I don't really know. Should we come from this angle? I don't know. I feel like it needs to be this. And so since I was dilly-dallying, fiddle farting, whatever you want to call it, it kind of put a little bit of a time crunch on my team. Which is fine. It worked out fine, but we honestly didn't have everything figured out. We didn't. We're like, well, there was some finger crossing. I hope this works. But we had to put a date on the calendar. And for some of you, I'd love for you, if you're going to do a challenge, put a date on the calendar. Hold your own feet to the fire. Hold your own feet to the fire. By Friday, I'm going to have a topic. By next week at this time, I'm going to have figured out what the topic is going to be on. And the fact of the matter is, it just needs to be good enough and done, versus you continuing to wait another 6 months for it to be perfect. Challenges are hot right now. And as you know, in our world of online business, things change fast, man. Things change really, really fast. And you just never know when a good pandemic or an election is going to come and change everything even more. And so what I'm saying is, there's some saying that my father used to say, something like, make hay while it's hot. That doesn't even make sense though. Make hay while you can, something like that. Somebody needs to make something. Send me a message on Instagram. Tell me what the saying is. Is it make hay? But while people are currently into challenges, do a challenge. It doesn't have to be perfect, just has to get going. All right. So that's number 2. Point number 3. You're going to want to make sure that the whole point of the challenge it needs to be to move them into something else, whether that's buy your course, get into your paid group, grab your ebook. You want to do one-on-one coaching. I don't know what it is, but I want to make sure that your content is positioned so that you, at the end of the week, you are moving them psychologically into, oh my gosh, this is so good that I really want to do more. I really want to work with this person more. I can't wait to see what she's about to offer us. We did tell people early on in the challenge, hey, at the end of the week, you're going to get a chance to join me in my coaching group. And I sprinkled that throughout the week. By Thursday, I was like, hey, and tomorrow you're going to have the opportunity to join us in the coaching group. And then on Friday, I was like, and the time is now. The time is now. And so make sure your content is just positioned well so that you have something to sell on the back end. I would even suggest that you have, more than one thing if you want to sell on the back end, based on the incredible feedback we got from that challenge. We're actually going to be rolling out probably a brand new product for a lot of people. It'll be a little bit higher ticket item than what you might be used to from Team Allwood. It's going to be a much closer touch, If you're not on my email list, you're going to want to get on my email list so that you are the first to know about that. You can go to jenniferallwood.com/subscribe. I don't even know. It's not in my notes, but we're super excited about kind of the other things that the challenge is showing us that people need. So make sure you have something that people need on the back end of your challenge. Point number 4, things that I want to teach you that we learned. Be really intentional about your pricing. Okay, so there are 2 different trains of thought here. One train of thought is your challenge should be free. Another train of thought is your challenge should not be free. Okay, and I think you can do either one. I mean, but I want to show you how we came to our decision on the fact that we did not do a free challenge. A lot of people suggested we did free, and that you want to get as many people as you can into the challenge. There were 2 reasons basically that I did not want to do free. The number one reason being, for as long as you guys have listened to me on this podcast or you have been in my coaching group, I have talked about not working for free. And I've talked about especially how as creatives, sometimes we just feel like we need to give away all of our gifts and barely scrape by. And that's not honorable. Scraping by is not how most of us are supposed to live. And so it just felt like to me that in order for me to stay in integrity, that I needed to charge for it. That if I'm constantly telling you guys don't work for free, but then I'm doing a free challenge, it didn't feel like that was being in integrity. So for that reason, I felt like we needed to charge. Also, I wanted to weed people out right up front because I wanted to really sow into the people that were sowing into me. I know because this was a challenge that had a biblical component to it. The Bible talks about, you will reap what you sow. And so I wanted people to sow from the very beginning. I wanted them right away in the very beginning to have some money invested, knowing that what they pay for, they will pay attention to. And so I wanted them to have some skin in the game. And did we eliminate how many people were in the challenge? Oh yeah, we could have gotten tons more than what we did had it been free. But I knew that if people couldn't invest $10, I don't know that they're going to sign up for a $47 coaching group. You know what I'm saying? So some of you are listening right now and you're like, but I wanted to do a challenge and I want to do it for free. Well, then girl, to the glory of God, do what you feel like you're supposed to do. Just get it done. And then you'll have probably some revelation like we have on the other side of it on things you could have done differently. Do you want to charge on the next one? But the important thing is to just try one and see what happens. If you're going to charge for your challenge, I would suggest it's a lower ticket item, meaning under the $20 point, honestly. And make sure that your checkout is going to be really easy for people. If you're not utilizing something like Apple Pay, Google Pay, or in particular PayPal, you've got to. Because in a world where nerves are tight, distraction is at an all-time high, people don't have a lot of time. It's not even actually that they don't have a lot of time because a lot of us are still at home, but it's that we don't have a lot of emotional capacity for effort. And because some of us right now are juggling, homeschooling kids, we're juggling kids who are trying to be back in school a couple days a week, but are struggling because school as they know it has completely changed. Some of us are, you're juggling maybe spouses being home, your sickness in your household, like there's a lot to juggle. So think about that as an entrepreneur. You don't want there to be any friction when people go to sign up, which means if you don't have a PayPal option or the Apple Pay option or the Google Pay option, and somebody has to get up off the sofa to walk up the stairs to her purse and get her wallet, that is a friction point. That is what might be the deciding factor between her going, I don't really need this so bad anyway. Does that make sense? So make sure you have plenty of payment ways for them to do it if you're going to charge. And if you feel like it should be free, then you do free. Okay, so that's point number 4. Point number 5, make sure you get some help on your challenge. I was pretty surprised at how much actually kind of went into it. There was some printouts that we wanted made. There was the landing page that needed done and the auto responders. When somebody signs up, they're going to get this. There was the 2 upsells that we had. There was the Facebook group and how are we going to do that, and making sure people had links for the calls and setting up the Zoom things. We set up Zoom webinars. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot more involved than what I think our team thought. In fact, Jenna has since said about the challenge, it was almost kind of like a little mini launch, if you will. And we did convert 29% of the people who were in that challenge over to my coaching group. It was very profitable for us. We did about $46,000 in revenue last week. We spent $6,000 in ads. Ad spend, as you know right now, or if you don't know, if you're in my coaching group, you know, Facebook ad cost right now is just ridiculous. And hopefully it will go down over after the election. But right now it's very high. So Facebook ads, we spent more than we wanted to and got less than we wanted to based on Facebook ads. But all in all, this was a win for Team Allwood. And if you didn't listen to Monday Fire, go listen to it, because it wasn't a win. Yes, the financial thing was great, but it was a win for us in terms of discovering a sweet spot. And for some of you who are like, gosh, I've been wanting to kind of do a challenge. I've kind of been thinking about it. I don't really know. And you're kind of hee-hawing around. I really encourage you to try one, because there's something to be said for just doing it and getting it past you and being like, okay, here's what worked. Here's what didn't. Here's what I liked. Here's what I didn't. I can't wait to do this again. Oh, I don't ever want to do this again. That is really valuable as a business owner. So I hope that this was helpful for somebody. If you're like, I want a brick and mortar, I don't want anything to do with the challenge, no worries. I'm sure you've got, online people in your world who are selling coaching. They're selling guitar lessons. They're selling cookie decorating. They're selling painting things. They're selling watercolor classes. I just like stuttered, or water. I don't even know what I said. But I want you to send this podcast to them. And because I do think a low ticket challenge right now leading to the bigger item that you sell is just so powerful. It's just so powerful. You're going to see more of this from Team Allwood. You're going to see it even leading to different things than just my inner circle. And so we can't wait, quite frankly, because that was fun. So, all right, if you're not on the email list, make sure you get on it. If you are on YouTube and watching this podcast, I don't know if you guys know, you're probably listening on the podcast app, but we put the visual of this on YouTube every single week also. If you don't already subscribe there, do. Sometimes it's just fun to see, facial expressions, big hair, cute earrings, that sort of thing. So if you're somebody that likes the visual piece of it, make sure you go and subscribe over on YouTube. I am under Jennifer Allwood on the YouTubes as well. Okay. Bless you, friends. So glad you're here. Until next week, you stay creative. We will see you again then. Bye-bye.